And welcome to the Contenders Corner Podcast, where we talk everything that is wrestling. Join us for our unfiltered thoughts, roasting, rant and discussion for this next video, all about the career of WWE's Roman Reigns. Please don't try this at home, as this video might contain some views you may disagree with or loathe. But here on the Contenders Corner Podcast, we accept everyone's view on things, even at times we ourselves may not agree with them. But I think that's the most professional way to go about things here, and respect people's opinion and let them have their say. I have been very critical of Roman Reigns in the past myself, but with the way he has redeveloped himself as a character and as a heel, I have grown to watch more of him, and his promo work has improved so vast, so too his wrestling. But welcome to this new series. The Contenders Corner Podcast presents the roast of, and it all starts with Roman Reigns. And our first guest on the Contenders Corner Podcast, all the way from AOW, the owner, Money Mike, and his two sons, to present their take on Roman Reigns. So again, it's nice to have you on here, Money Mike, and it's always fantastic to hear your take on things and everything that is wrestling. First off, what are your thoughts on Roman Reigns' career? And another question as well on the table that we'll throw on here is, if there is a wrestler to dethrone Roman Reigns, who would it be and why?
Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, head of the table. Excellent heel. Love the personality. I love the sarcastic smile that he gives out whenever he comes out to the ring. Paul Heyman is working wonders for Reigns. The only thing that I would change about Roman Reigns' current situation in the WWE is, to me, they often make him look weak. They make him repeatedly look like he needs help to get the job done. And Roman Reigns is a monster, man. I mean, he don't need no Usos coming out there to save his ass against people like Rey Mysterio Jr. I mean, Roman Reigns should be out here winning matches, dominating opponents, clean decisions. But that's just my opinion. Well, Review Geek 3000, it's always great to have you. It's always great to be a part of your show. Thank you for being a sponsor to AOW Wrestling. We will be back on July 1st with AOW Breakout. So I hope all you Review Geek fans out there stay awesome and tune in to AOW Wrestling on July 1st. That's my take on Roman Reigns. It don't get no better than that. I'm going to throw one out there for you. I'm going to throw a wild card out there, Review Geek 3000. I think with the draft coming up, I don't think there's anybody on SmackDown that can take him out. But the draft's coming up, And there's one person that I'm going to throw out there as a wild card, and that's the Archer of Infamy, Damian Priest. I also got a special treat for you. I got two special guests here with me tonight. I got two special guests with me here tonight also to provide their take on who they think is the man to stop Roman Reigns. First, AOW superstar and Money Mike's son, Low Key.
My take on who can beat Roman Reigns is Seth Rollins. He knows Roman Reigns better than anyone else in WWE due to their time in the Shield.
And my other guest, another son, and other AOW superstar, JJ Boone.
I think that we haven't seen Brock Lesnar in a while. So it's a real wild card that he could get drafted to SmackDown to F5 the life out of Roman Reigns and reclaim his reward.
Thank you again, Money Mike, the owner of AOW, for sharing your thoughts and also for bringing on your sons. And thanks again, JJ Boom and Loki, for sharing your thoughts on WWE and Roman Reigns. And JJ Boom, Loki, stay awesome. And thank you again for AOW for appearing on the show, and we will hopefully see you again on the podcast again. Sadly, it was only for a 3-minute segment, but hopefully in the future we can have you on for much longer this time round. And we move on to our next guest, and he is on YouTube as well. The People's Wrestling channel, known as Ricky Goldman. So please, guys, if you're new to his channel and you're new to this, then please head over to the People's Wrestling channel. Go over to there and you'll catch his reviews and his sessions on YouTube on his channel. Again, I repeat, the People's Wrestling channel. Awesome viewers on YouTube, we are back with another special guest, and he is the host of the People's Wrestling channel, Ricky Goldman. So yes, Ricky Goldman, let's get straight into this interview. What are your thoughts on the career of Roman Reigns?
The golden one here, the man that flashes the cash, all the way from the People's Wrestling channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to that. It is Ricky Goldman, and Jason here from Review Geek 3000 had asked me, has Cuz made that call and said, I want your take. I want your take on the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, your reigning, defending Universal Champion. And my take is, I think he's the best thing in WWE right now. Great promos. Doing his best work right now. As far as who can stop him, who's going to take that title, well, we'll get to that in another video. But I'm enjoying it. For me, Reigns is a reason to watch SmackDown. Reigns is the reason that, to what WWE right now, I think, apart from NXT and NXT UK, Raw isn't the best. So, yeah, I'm enjoying what Roman Reigns is doing right now. As I said, the reason I watch SmackDown, and I should be the reason you watch the People's Wrestling Channel. You like and subscribe. I'm sure that Jason is going to have my channel in the description. You check it out and come and see all the glory and all the gold only on my channel, the People's Wrestling Channel.
I think we can all agree that the reason why majority of people watch SmackDown is because of his recreation, the way he's turned things around, and his heel work is absolutely phenomenal. The work he's doing alongside Paul Heyman is absolutely fantastic. The stuff that he's done with Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso to make them like a main event is absolutely fantastic. But we're back with another question. And if there is a guy on SmackDown or in another roster that could dethrone Roman Reigns, who would it be and why?
The Golden One, Ricky Gorman here again. And I just hope that I'm being paid for this. But Jason has asked me to do yet another video. Jason has asked me, who will be the man to stop Roman Reigns and take that title from him? Well, let's run through this. Edge isn't the man. He's going to get beaten again at Money in the Bank. John Cena at SummerSlam, only coming in for one match. So he's going to lose at SummerSlam. Then in the draft, I think Drew McIntyre gets drafted to SmackDown. I won't give the title to Drew straight away, but do I think he'll go after the title straight away? Yes. So you've got Clash of Champions, then Extreme Rules. I think, they'll feud a couple of matches there. Maybe in Saudi as well if they go over. I can see about having a third match there. There are rumours that WWE is going back to Saudi this year. And then you've got a Survivor Series. So it's going to be either Raw versus SmackDown or Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. So real no title on the line there. But you've also got the return of The Rock. The heavily rumoured return of The Rock. So is that where they then set up the match for WrestleMania? Then heading into WrestleMania season, I really can't see taking the title off him. So TLC in December, obviously he's months away. So who knows? But I can't see me beating him there. The Royal Rumble next year, no. Fastlane Elimination Chamber, no. If it's Rock versus Reigns at SummerSlam, WrestleMania, I can see Reigns winning. The Rock doesn't need a title, so I just don't know.
I was talking about this particular setup with another YouTuber on his live comments on his stream, and what we were discussing was, okay, what if WWE set up a two-match plan for The Rock and Roman Reigns? One WrestleMania, The Rock defeats Roman for the title, and we have one last run for The Rock as champ, and then going into WrestleMania Hollywood, Roman defeats The Rock to set up The Rock to retire. If that's the case, then how awesome would that be, having The Rock become champion one more time for the WWE Universe, and then Roman gets his revenge at WrestleMania 39 at Hollywood, and then The Rock retires. And Ricky, what is your take? What is your view on Roman Reigns as a heel?
The man that flashes the cash. Ricky Gorman here again, and I'm not doing these for free, but here with another video. And Jason has asked me my take on Roman Reigns going heel. You know, what do I think about that? Well, I think a lot of people for years have wanted this. I think a lot of people wanted Reigns to be the guy, wanted Reigns to be going heel, coming out of the Shield. And now we're getting it. Now we're getting the heel Roman Reigns. I think he's fantastic. You know, he does the best promos. You want to actually watch one of Roman Reigns' promos. You want to listen to what he's going to say rather than just being a run-of-the-mill, boring promo that doesn't really matter. So, yeah, he puts on the best matches. I think that everybody is now getting a good, you know, it takes two people, but everybody's getting a good match out of him, and he's getting a good match out of them. So Owens and Cesaro, the triple threat match at WrestleMania, his t-shirts are cool. And like I said in my first video, he's a reason I watch SmackDown, a reason a lot of people watch SmackDown for Roman Reigns. So I'm enjoying his heel turn. I think he's doing it very, very, very well. He's excelling at it. And you should all acknowledge your tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Another question. Just one more question, Ricky, that I'm going to fire at you. What would be the hardest challenge for Roman Reigns post 2023?
Oh, here again I see Mr. Moneybags, the golden one, here for a final video. Before I kick this off, remember the People's Wrestling channel and you like and subscribe to it. So, here's my final video for Jason. And I hope he's paying me well for this. But, he's asked me, who do I think could beat Roman Reigns in the year 2023? Well, that is a long time away. It's over a year away. So really, I cannot say much. I really don't know. I don't even know who will be in WWE in 2023. So I'm unfortunately not going to be much help on this. But knowing WWE is going to be people like Goldberg or The Undertaker or people like that. Who knows? If WWE do this properly, Reigns could be the next Cena and the next face of WWE. So I'll have to wait and see. Like I said, not really been much help here. I just don't know the future in 2023. Who knows what's going to happen? But we do know that it's all about making the money. So once again, the People's Wrestling channel. You like and you subscribe. Get those 2 shout-outs. And watch me flash the cash.
And that was the People's Wrestling channel over on YouTube, guys. And again, that is the People's Wrestling channel, the host, Ricky Goldman, on there. So please like, share, comment and subscribe and go check out his content. So I have one other guest, and that is FCW's the voice of Tommy Prime, Scott Cater. next guest is from FCW, the voice of Tommy Prime, Scott Cater. And again, he's going to be doing a voiceover for us, and he's going to be asking our questions. So we'll start it off. So, Scott Cater, it's a pleasure to hear from you yet again, and thanks for becoming another member, another guest on our podcast, and we really, really are humbled and appreciate you attending this podcast with us. We'll start off first. What do you think? What is your take on Roman's career, starting from NXT to becoming a face on the main roster, and then to his new redeveloped character, the Tribal Chief, the heel, Roman Reigns?
I personally think Roman Reigns was always designed to be a star. Vince likes guys that fits his mould, so yeah, as soon as he came out from NXT, I think you could always tell that Roman was like get pushed to the main event picture. His face run, really believable. I mean, you could just tell straight away that. I mean, the amount of time just being main event in WrestleMania just tells you how good he is. He might not be great in the ring, but as a character and a commercial point of view, Roman's he's one of the top guys in the company, and now he's bossing it as a heel. I think he's the main man. No one in the main roster of WWE right now can touch him.
And that is Scott Cater. Thanks for your opinion and your take on his career, starting from NXT to his face work to becoming a heel as a new redeveloped character as the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Also, if there is one guy in WWE, on SmackDown or on Raw or on NXT, if there is one guy, who would be the guy to dethrone him and why?
Who will dethrone him? That's a tough one. Edge has got a great chance of doing so at Money in the Bank. John Cena's a name that's been rumoured. Also, Brock Lesnar's another man that's been rumoured. But if I could choose, it has to be The Fiend. I think Bray Wyatt has to be the guy to dethrone Roman Reigns. It's believable. The Fiend is a great character, and before he's lost to Goldberg, The Fiend was untouchable, and they sort of pushed The Fiend back out of the spotlight, which is a shame. He's a fantastic character. He finally got Bray Wyatt over amongst the fans. Bring him over to SmackDown. SmackDown needs bigger guys, and The Fiend is the man to define.
Also, Scott Cater, the Tribal Chief, the big dog, Roman Reigns, is he the A guy?
Right now, I have to say yes. He's held the championship for quite a while now. He's beaten some decent competitors along the way. Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, Edge, part of Triple Threat, Cesaro. But the SmackDown roster has been weaker than Raw's, purely for the fact that because Vince wants Roman to dominate. He's wanted Roman to be the champion for a long time, and to be fair, as a heel, he's done well. He's done better than I thought he would be. So I have to say that right now, he is the A guy. I know Lashley fans, Orton fans, McIntyre fans argue that, but right now, the top dog in the company is Roman Reigns, whether you like it or not.
Some more questions to throw at Scott Cater as he wants to appear much longer. So here we go. Scott Cater, what do you think of the Money in the Bank match between Edge versus Roman? What do you think of this?
I think Edge versus Roman at Money in the Bank does make a lot of sense. We need big name challengers to challenge Roman because they're not going to be using Big E, Sami Zayn, Apollo Crews, and they're not going to push anyone else towards him at the moment. So right now you need a name that will get fans watching. Roman versus Edge will get the fans watching. It should be a good match. I'm expecting Roman to walk away with the title again still. But yeah, I mean, Edge fought back from 9 years of injury for this moment, and Daniel Bryan ruined what was supposed to be his moment at WrestleMania. So now, let's have it at Money in the Bank. Edge versus Roman, yeah, I'm excited for it.
Also, Scott Cater, where do you think Edge versus Roman, where do you think this will lead?
It'll probably lead to another Reigns win, and it'll just boost his ego even higher. Because the way Roman's delivering the promos, even though he's got Paul Heyman by his side, right now he doesn't really need him. Because Roman is doing stuff his own. He's doing his own promos. It will probably lead to another big name coming in, or they could use Rollins. But the rumours I'm hearing is that it will be John Cena returning to challenge Roman Reigns. And yeah, it's two big names who have been on top of the company for a long time, but the fans don't really want it. They want fresh. Looks like that's what we're getting, Cena versus Reigns.
Moving into SummerSlam, Scott Cater, what could you see happen?
Going into SummerSlam, I would like to see someone like Big E or possibly Shinsuke Nakamura get the title shot. I think Nakamura, he's been held back a lot since winning the Royal Rumble. We had those title shots. What has he had since? Nakamura is a fantastic wrestler. He has paid his dues. That's the man that Vince McMahon should be pushing. Not John Cena. Not Brock Lesnar. Well, maybe even not Edge. Shinsuke Nakamura is the man I want to see get the title shot. So, but Vince won't do it. We're most likely to see Roman versus Cena, which fair enough. It's two big names getting the title match, but we want more than that. Come on, Vince. Give us something different.
And that was the voice of Scott Cater from FCW, the voice of Tommy Prime there. So please, guys, if you want to check out their stuff on Facebook, then go over to FCW, Forbidden Championship Wrestling, over on Facebook, and you can catch them weekly, guys. They just dropped their Grab for Glory, which was on Sunday as well, guys, and it was a fantastic pay-per-view, guys. So please go over there and catch up on that, and that is the Grab for Glory pay-per-view over on Forbidden Championship Wrestling on Facebook. They've also got a new YouTube channel. They're becoming a YouTube. They're taking the lights of YouTube, guys. So they'll be debuting their new show, Pipeline, which they can review and catch up on the top moments on their shows, and that is the new show on YouTube, Forbidden Championship Wrestling, Pipeline. And we're joined by the owner of UKWA, and that is Jono. Welcome, Jono. And thank you for coming on to this show. It really is a privilege to hear your words once again. I've got a few questions to ask, and what is your view on his career as face to heel? What is your take on Roman Reigns from face to heel?
Hello, I am Jono from UKWA, the owner. Thank you to Review Geek 3000 for letting me feature in this, or in the roast of Roman Reigns. So my first intake, I'm going to express, it's about his transaction to heel, face heel. I'm not 100% sure when this all happened, or his own face, or whatever, but this is me talking off what I know. I mean, as a face, I think it was pretty cool. Like, I get it, don't understand. But the whole heel thing, I'm not particularly sure. Just when they're in the Shield, it was a bit, understandable if they were heel, because it just suited them all over. But with the whole heel head of the table thing now, I don't particularly like it. It's not my bag. It's more, I can't really get my head around it. I was trying to justify it, but I really can't. Like, I'm really not a huge fan of Roman Reigns. It's like I liked him when he was in the Shield, like I said, but now I turn off or turn over when he's on. I can't deal with him at all. So, but I mean, there's a lot of people who do like him, but I'm one of them who don't. So, I mean, when I went to go see WWE Live, when Roman came out, there was just booze, pure booze. So, there you go. I mean, I didn't really hear any cheers. There was a lot of booze. So that's all I've got to say with these heel and face transaction. Not a fan. Back to you, Review Geek.
Also, Jono, I've got another question. Thanks again for your take and your view of Roman. It's also good to hear a negative side on here, and a lot of people, we all know a lot of people love Roman Reigns, and if you don't like what people have got to say on this channel, and you are very opinionated and you highly think of Roman, then these next few videos are not for you. Then please just click out and back out. As simple as that. But if you are unbiased like myself and you allow other people to have their say and you respect what other people have to say, even though you do not agree with them, then this is the channel to watch. Then, okay, this next question, Jono, who could dethrone Roman Reigns and why?
Jono from UKWA, back again. The next one was who would like to see dethrone him and why? Personally, Edge. I mean, it makes sense. Like him coming back, it just makes sense for him to come back and just take out Roman. Like, maybe not straight away, but let Edge have the moment of taking Roman Reigns now, because it's time. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Edge, always have been. So, I'm just going to think of anyone else who I like to see dethroned. Can't really think of anyone. Again, Edge just makes sense. Yeah, Edge. Just get Edge to be the win and just take him out at Money in the Bank. That's all I can say. I mean, I'm happy to let anyone take him out, really. like I said in the previous video, I'm not a fan. So, I just can't stand the guy. So, just let anyone take him out. But preferably, Edge would be nice. I'm happy with that. So, that's my review on Roman. Who to take Roman out? Like I said, I think it's time for him to knock him down a few pegs. Like, class him as the top E guy of WWE, or the WWE guy. I don't think he is. I just think he's a guy in WWE, not the guy. So, I'd say Edge. Let Edge take him down. Dethrone the big dog. There's my review on that.
Another question, Jono, and thanks again for your thoughts on who could be the possible guy to dethrone Roman. Myself personally, I do agree. I think the guy who should be given the chance to at least dethrone him is Edge. I thought he could have done it at WrestleMania. The story suited it perfectly. Why they had Daniel Bryan interfere in that match, why they put Daniel Bryan into that match, I do not know. The story was perfect. It was set for Edge to defeat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. The story would have suited it. It would have been perfect. Edge returned from an injury. Edge won the Royal Rumble. And then Daniel Bryan interferes in that match, locks himself into that match, and it becomes a triple threat. I do not know why. I think the story was a bit stale for me on the WrestleMania. I think it could have been perfect for an Edge victory. Personally, don't get me wrong. Personally, I think the match in a whole, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, was fantastic at WrestleMania. It blew the roof off. It tore down that stadium. It sent volumes. It sent volumes into that stadium. It was absolutely thunderous. But I think the story would have been so much perfect, and it would have been perfectly told if Edge was coming out of that Royal Rumble and he had done what he had said he was going to do, and that was beat Roman Reigns for the title at WrestleMania. It would have been absolutely setting. It would have made perfect sense. The story would have been jammed perfect for the time. But it is what it is, and story-wise at the minute, the creative, the drive, the compassion that writers in WWE at this moment in time are absolute stale indeed. But anyway, your thoughts on who is the A guy in WWE? Is it Roman? Is it anybody else? Or is Roman just a guy?
UKWA owner once again. My review on Roman being the WWE guy, like the top guy. No, I don't see it as that. He's been pushed too much. Been forced in everyone's faces. It's not for everyone. Like, there's nothing nice I can say about the guy. He was pushed in everyone's faces. Like, he was pushed by Vince or whoever. He was pushed. But I get the first push, maybe. I get it. Just to be like, oh, here's this guy, check out Roman. See what reaction he gets. But obviously, he didn't quite understand that no one likes the guy. Like, Dean Ambrose outshined him. Seth Rollins outshined him and still outshines him. Like, same Dean, really, like John Moxley. But Roman is just a bland, vanilla kind of wrestler. That's it. Like, in the Shield, like, you get Dean, who was like the lunatic fringe, like the main guy, the leader, you know. Rollins, who was the architect, the technician, like, I understand that. That's just what a fucking cool guy to see. But Roman, okay, what, the big powerhouse. Okay, fair enough. But when the Shield split, and obviously when Seth turned his back and the whole thing was over, it was good to see Dean on his own. It was good to see Seth on his own. Well, it was boring as hell to see Roman on his own. Like, maybe a match or two was kind of like, okay, let's see what this guy can do. But again, he was pushing everyone's faces, and it was just boring. Like, oh, just a no from me. Can't stand that vanilla wrestler. Absolutely boring. I just turn off when he's on. I'll turn over. Like I said. That's my review on, well, another review on Roman Reigns being the WWE guy. Back to you, Review Geek.
And that was Jono's take on if Roman is the guy, the A guy on WWE. And Jono perfectly outlined it there, clear as day, that he believes that Roman is a bland, stale, and very vanilla athlete on WWE. He perfectly states that Roman was pushed in our faces when Seth had betrayed the Shield, when Seth had gone alone, when Dean Ambrose had gone alone, and Roman was pushed in everyone's faces, and it was very boring to watch as he became face. But those are Jono's takes, guys. If you didn't like what Jono had to say, then all you got to do is fast forward to the next part where we talk with the Fanatic Podcast. But here on the channel, guys, we welcome everybody's opinion, guys, whether they are positive, whether they are negative. We allow everybody to have a say on this podcast. And if you don't like what the guest has got to say on this channel, then all you got to do is back out or fast forward to the next guest. Simple as that. And welcome back, and this is the Contenders Corner Podcast. Your host, as always, Jason, and we present our next guest, and he is from one half of the Ringside Fanatics podcast. And it's great to have you on the show, and I've got a question to ask, and what is your thoughts on the rise of Roman Reigns in WWE?
What's going on, everybody? It's Nick Arias here, the host and one half of the Ring Fanatics podcast. I'm in my car, but I'm here to talk about two topics. The first being the rise of Roman Reigns since his early days, and his only day actually in NXT. I think that Roman Reigns has obviously heavily increased in his popularity and has benefited a lot since his NXT days, his only NXT day, like I said. He is one of those very few people that has succeeded, even though he never really had much time in NXT. You know, a lot of people we see today has had some sort of impact in NXT as well, not just only in the main roster. And Roman Reigns has really, I guess you could say, broke the barrier in terms of not really having much time in NXT. People may not really focus on that part of it, but I do. You know, like I said before, there's not really that many people who had very little time and had great success in main roster. We've seen people, like Elias is one of them. He's doing all right where he's at, even though he's barely had time in NXT. especially to shine in NXT. But I think for Roman Reigns, I think he has, I think he was ready, even though he never really had time in NXT. I think he was born ready. That's how I look at it. I think he didn't really need NXT, in my opinion. Not because of his success right now, but I feel like Roman Reigns was built a superstar already. Yes, I know he's cousins, he's born in the same family as The Rock, but that's not the reason. I think he's just naturally a star. I think he was ready for it since day one. I remember seeing FCW, he had his time there. Even though I said it on my podcast once that Roman didn't really have much of a character when he was a babyface, but had more of an impact as a heel. So I think he, like I said, he wasn't really, didn't really need NXT like that as many superstars, but I think he did alright. And I think he has made himself a star, like a John Cena name. So yeah.
And that was the Ring Fanatics podcast, outlining their view of what they thought, what their take is of the rise of Roman Reigns. And it's always great to have them on the show. It's a privilege. I am very humbled to collaborate with other YouTubers, and it's nice to see that the wrestling community and, well, the wrestling community are working together. And I've got another question for you. If there is one guy in WWE from Raw, SmackDown or NXT, who would be the guy to dethrone Roman Reigns, and why?
What's going on, everybody? This is Nick Arias, the host and one half of the Ring Fanatics podcast. I know I'm in my car, but I'm here to talk about who I think is going to dethrone Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. People are going to assume it's going to be Edge, since he is facing Roman at Money in the Bank, and maybe Cena, since he's rumored to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, but I think it's going to be neither of them. Who I think is going to dethrone Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship is, it may be a shocker to some people, you may not think of it, but hear me out. I think it's going to be Drew McIntyre, and let me explain. I think that Drew McIntyre is going to win the qualifying match next Monday, then go on to Money in the Bank, then win Money in the Bank. He's going to be on Raw, since he's a Raw superstar. So he's going to try to attempt to cash it in on Bobby Lashley in the WWE Championship. But before he's able to, since he thinks, he lost a Hell in a Cell, he can't face Bobby again, he's going to think that now he has the Money in the Bank briefcase, that he has the chance to do it again. But Bobby and MVP are going to bring up to Adam Pearce and DeVille that he had lost a Hell in a Cell, which Pearce and DeVille will bring up and change the rule. So now Drew McIntyre is going to have to wait until after Bobby loses it to cash in on the WWE Championship. So then he's going to have to wait to cash in after Lashley loses it. So what does Drew McIntyre do? He comes up with a way for Lashley to lose it by calling back someone who Drew McIntyre has beaten in the past. Who has he beaten in the past with the WWE Championship? That is Brock Lesnar, who is now rumored to face Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. So I think that that's going to happen at SummerSlam. Brock's going to beat Bobby for the WWE Championship. And I think at SummerSlam and the Raw after SummerSlam and the week after that, Drew McIntyre is going to kind of get into Brock Lesnar's head into thinking that he's going to cash in. And because you got to remember too, the week after SummerSlam it starts the draft. So I think on the second day, specifically on the Friday Night SmackDown episode of the draft, that's when Drew McIntyre is going to head over to SmackDown, get drafted to SmackDown. And the same night, out of nowhere, when people aren't expecting it, that's when Drew McIntyre is going to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase and take the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns. So I think that's going to happen. That's my theory on how it's going to dethrone Roman Reigns and how, the next few months is going to happen. Because apparently there are rumors now that Drew McIntyre may be going to SmackDown. So, in recap, Drew McIntyre wins Money in the Bank. Adam Pearce says he can't cash in on Bobby Lashley and going to have to wait till he loses it. Drew McIntyre calls back Brock Lesnar to beat Bobby Lashley for the championship. Brock Lesnar does. Drew McIntyre teases Brock Lesnar to now think he's going to cash in on him since it's off Lashley. And then during the week of the draft, Drew McIntyre heads over to SmackDown, gets drafted to SmackDown, and then cashes in on Roman Reigns that same night, and then being the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. So yeah, that's who I think who's going to dethrone Roman Reigns, and I hope I'm right. See you guys.
And that was our guest, the Ringside Fanatics podcast, to give their take on the rise of Roman Reigns and who would be the guy to dethrone Roman, the tribal chief, the head of the table. And again, guys, if you don't like what our guests have got to say, whether it is positive, whether it is negative, then all you got to do is back out or fast forward to the next guest. Most of our guests we have on here are positive, have a positive view of Roman, but there's always going to be one guy or one woman who doesn't like a wrestler, Roman for this instance on this topic. But again, guys, if you don't like what they've got to say, if you don't like their opinion, then all you got to do is fast forward to the next guest, and most likely there will be a positive view on there. But anyway, this was the Ringside Fanatics podcast, and please go over to their channel, like, share, comment and subscribe, and view their next drop. And also, guys, turn on their notifications so you will be notified for future drops of their channel. But anyway, another shout out to their channel, and that is the Ringside Fanatics podcast on YouTube. We've also got another guest over from UWF, and that is Johnny Morgan. He will be featuring for some work with Michael Boyle on FCW's Forbidden Championship Wrestling Pipeline over on YouTube. It's always good to hear from FCW, and Johnny Morgan has been working with Michael Boyle for quite some time, and we thought it'd be good to hear his take on Roman Reigns and his side of things. Okay, Johnny Morgan, it's good to hear your take, and it's great to have you on board here on the Contenders Corner Podcast. What are your thoughts on Roman Reigns as a heel? What is your take? What is your view of things?
So, this is Johnny from Johnny Morgan from GCW, soon to be UWF. Universal Wrestling Federation. That's what's going to be the name of my little company. I've been asked a number of times by friends and co-workers about Roman Reigns and his heel persona, or what do I think about it. Well, I tell you what, he's quite an impressive heel. He's almost like an old school heel, to where he is practically saying this here, that you may not agree with me, but I'm right in what I'm doing, so I'm justified in what I'm doing. I mean, when you get someone like myself, whenever he says that he's the tribal chief, and I keep saying that he's the tribal jackass, well, he's doing his job, So, Roman Reigns has been, he's been on a tear. He's been basically on a search and destroy mission, if you want to know the truth about it. Way he did Daniel Bryan and Edge, and it was perfect too. Edge wasn't the one pinned; it was Daniel Bryan that was pinned. So Edge has a right to come back and go after the title. But Roman Reigns, man, I tell you what, he was kind of flat as a face, but as a heel, he is on fire.
Also, Johnny Morgan, is there a current star in the roster that has the capability of dethroning Roman Reigns? Has anyone got the future talent? Is there a rising talent that has Roman Reigns' number?
As far as who I believe could dethrone Roman Reigns, I don't think Edge will do it. Maybe they might have him do it for sentimental reasons. I don't know. I hope Roman keeps it. Now they're talking about the draft coming up in August, so, I'm not sure what's going to happen there, and I reserve my thoughts for after the draft. Right now, the person who I think that can take the belt would be, I'm going to say Seth Rollins. I mean, he's done it once already. If you think back to 3 WrestleManias ago, when he cashed in his Money in the Bank, it was against Roman Reigns. So I believe Roman Reigns, if he faces Seth Rollins, I think Seth Rollins has his number. Seth Rollins, of course, the architect of the Shield, the destroyer of the Shield, and he owns Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns just doesn't know it yet. But yeah, I think Seth Rollins will be the man who will take the belt from him eventually, if they happen to meet up. I hope they save that one for either Royal Rumble or maybe a WrestleMania match. Who knows? Just looking down the road, trying to put myself in the Booker's position. But yeah, I'm going to go with Seth Rollins. I don't think Big E was on the radar, but I think he's dropped off the radar a little bit. I'd like to see Sami Zayn try, but Seth Rollins is the guy that I think is going to take the belt from Roman Reigns.
And we're back on the air with another guest, all the way from Forbidden Championship Wrestling, and it's the owner of Michael Boyle. And we appreciate the time and your collaboration with us, Michael Boyle. You've been featured in the past few videos, and it's great to have you on board for this big drop for the new series, The Roast of Roman Reigns. What is your thoughts on Roman being an A-lister?
My view on Roman Reigns being an A-lister, I never really rated him as a superstar. I think he's boring in the ring, same old shit moves every single week. Clothesline, Superman punch, attempting to be the Undertaker by jumping over the top rope, flying like an angel. No one can pull that off better than the Dead Man. And probably one of the most stupid moves in the history, which is the Superman punch and the spear, which has been done over and over and over again. Edge pulled it off better, so did Goldberg. No one can pull it off better. So that's his wrestling side of it. I don't like him as a wrestler. I think he's shit. But personally, excuse me. But personally, his mic work and his ability to work with Heyman has certainly been A grade. I like the heel character. He's got so much aura around him. The WWE Universe has really channeled that anger towards him. It's not just the fact of who he is and where he comes from, it's the fact of his background, I mean, but it's just, I don't know, but something about him. I think he was better when he was in the Shield, but he's come away from that. I know, I have to say his ring attire still is crap, but he's still got the Shield stupid stuff wearing crap on, but if he was to improve his ring attire, I think he'd be a lot more better heel. He's a fantastic heel. I like the work. But other than that, I don't really like the guy in the ring, but like his persona and the hatred towards him. But that is my review on Roman Reigns.
It's great to hear your take on him being an A-lister, and it's always good to hear your side of things. And as we do on this channel, guys, we like to hear from both sides of the coins, not just one side. I think it balances it out a bit if we hear people who have a negative side of things, and it's always good to hear both sides. And again, I think I had the same view back then. I was very critical in the past about Roman. It was pushed in our faces a lot, and it felt rushed. It felt there was trying to force. It felt like there was trying to force, because at the time John Cena left, and it felt like they was trying to force the next top guy in our face, and it didn't work. It didn't work. But with this, with his heel change, and I think it's working for a lot of fans. But I'm just in that side of view of things. I'll watch him. I've watched him a lot more than I have in the past, and I'll tell you now that I think the favourite recent match I've watched is Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns. If there is a guy to beat Roman Reigns, to dethrone Roman Reigns, who would it be and why?
My view on whether he will be beaten and who will beat him. I reckon he'll hold the championship till around about SummerSlam, and that's not too far away now. But there's a rumour going around, obviously, with the draft. There's a rumour going around that obviously Drew McIntyre could be heading over to SmackDown. I like to think Edge can do it, because Edge seems to be the one that's, I don't know, the same level as Roman. You know, that could take Roman down and take Roman out. And he nearly done that. If it wasn't for Jimmy Uso getting involved on Friday, I think Edge would have hit him with a concerto. Edge looks amazing. He always has done. He's always been one of my favourite superstars. But Roman, you know, he's certainly got a bullseye in his chest. But if I had to choose someone to defeat him, and I wouldn't mind seeing a lovely feud with him, if the draft comes in, I would like to see The Fiend appear, go over from Raw to SmackDown, leave Alexa to do her work on the playground, and then the Funhouse can move back over to SmackDown where it belongs, truthfully. And I'd like to see The Fiend maybe make a return at SummerSlam, challenge Roman, and topple the Tribal Chief. And yeah, that's my personal view, but I personally believe that The Fiend is my pick to defeat the Tribal Chief or Edge. That's my personal view on it. But other than that, as usual, I don't really give a shit.
And also, Michael, give us your take, from your perspective, your view of his work as a heel.
He's asked me to do another video to talk about Roman's heel character. I said I've got no problem with the heel character. I don't like him. Again, as I said earlier, you know, I don't like him in the ring. I think he's boring. He's probably one of the most boring superstars in the division. But his persona, the mic work, with Paul Heyman has been very, very entertaining, very successful. He's certainly given Jimmy and Jay a push, which I always wanted to see. They're very talented young men. Yeah, I believe that he could go far with this. I think WWE should keep him as a heel. and I think he was very, very weak as a face, but he's risen over the last year or so since becoming the tribal chief and all this round table stuff or whatever it is he talked about. I'd like to see him maybe build the faction, maybe actually have a faction. I know he's got the Usos by him. I'd like to see him grow it. Maybe, maybe add Tamina to it. Maybe, obviously she's family. Or Nia Jax. If Nia Jax comes over to SmackDown, maybe she could join it. But yeah, just have like a Samoan faction where it's a family. But other than that, as I said, I rate it. I don't, nothing else to talk about really. I'd like to see him and the Fiend. I can't wait to see what Edge can do with him. But again, I'm just clueless. Like I said to you, I don't really care about WWE right now. I just the program and the network is so poor right now. But that's my personal view on it. But Roman Reigns, great heel, shit wrestler.
And another question. What would be the hardest challenge for Roman Reigns to face post 2023?
What can I say? What's in store for Roman Reigns between now and next year's WrestleMania? If it was me, if I was writing where he was going, I'd say I would build a faction around him. But again, as I said to you earlier in the video, that I believe that family is important to him. Being the tribal chief at the end of the table, he wants all his family members at the end of the table. So I think maybe Tamina could get involved, or Nia Jax could get involved. Maybe some more upcoming family members from the Hanoi family. If I said that right, sorry if I pronounced it wrong. If it's right, then thank you. But maybe I'd like to see Cesaro getting involved again. Maybe Edge continuation. The Fiend maybe getting an opportunity at this. But I think WrestleMania 23 will be a family affair. I think it will be Roman Reigns versus Dwayne at WrestleMania 23. 23? I'm talking about, sorry, WrestleMania 39 or 38, whatever the fuck it is, but next year's WrestleMania. Yeah, so I think the final chapter of this tribal chief persona, I think, may end with the return of the most electrifying man, supposedly, in sports entertainment, The Rock. I'm kidding, no, I always like The Rock. But yeah, I see Rock versus Roman.
And then just one more question. Gotta push it, Michael, but what are your thoughts on Roman defeating the longest title reign set by Bruno Sammartino?
Jeez, a 3-minute video. You're pushing your luck, Jason. 3-minute video about Roman Reigns. Oh my god. I've been in a 6-minute video about Riddle in a minute. No, will he defeat Bruno Sammartino's record? He won't. He's barely near. If I'm right, I believe he's nowhere near CM Punk either. I mean, Punk was 434. Are they going to defeat that run? Are they going to maybe beat CM Punk's record, not Bruno Sammartino? It'd be stupid if they beat Bruno Sammartino's, because Roman Reigns is nowhere near Bruno Sammartino's level. He's had a good title run, but people get bored after a long title run. People did when CM Punk did. I didn't, obviously, being a fan of CM Punk. But I'd like to say the person to topple him would be The Fiend. I think The Fiend or Edge were the only two I believe that could topple him. I'd like to see a moment of the year for the what do you call them? The Slammy Awards, that's the one. That's what you get from watching WWE for a long time. The Slammies, yes, the Slammies. Maybe a moment for Cesaro, maybe, or to knowing the writers, they'll probably do something silly and shock the world by giving Dominic Mysterio a title opportunity. It'd be that sort of thing. I know WWE would do it. I know the writers would do it because they're crap at the moment. I don't know. Maybe give Dolph Ziggler an opportunity. Bobby Roode. I don't know. There's not much. Not unless Drew McIntyre does it. Not unless Drew comes over and topples Roman's record. I don't know. I really don't know. But my view on it, personally, deep down, Roman will be nowhere near to beat Bruno Sammartino's record. That record will never be broken because times have changed. Back then wrestling was professional, now it's sports entertainment. The storylines behind it is a totally different kettle of fish. Bruno Sammartino was a proper fighter, even a proper wrestler. Roman is just a prat. But in my personal view, it's not going to happen.
That was the words of Michael Boyle, and you can catch him over on Forbidden Championship Wrestling. Please don't forget to view and subscribe to his latest YouTube channel, and that is a review, interview, podcast series on there, and it's called FCW Pipeline. Just guys, that is Forbidden Championship Wrestling over on Facebook and now on YouTube for FCW's Pipeline. And those were all our guests on the Contenders Corner podcast. But we've got one more guest to feature. And he is from Australia's Queensland Wrestling Alliance. His name, Champ Phoenix. And he's known as a wrestler in Australia, QWA. So please, guys, if you're new to Australian wrestling, please go over there, check out QWA, Queensland Wrestling Alliance, and go check that.
Company, Queensland Wrestling Alliance, QWA, one of the biggest companies in Australia. We got a huge event coming up, which is the biggest event of the year, QWA Dominance on July 17th. It's one of the biggest events in Australia for pro wrestling. We get some of the biggest crowds in Australia. We got top talent, the whole card stacked. I got a big fatal four-way match for the middleweight title. We got a heavyweight match, Tommy Asgard versus Zach Gardner, the Tainted Crow. We got guys coming in from down south. Everyone will be watching this one. QWA Dominance, July 17th. On YouTube, QWA Wrestling, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything, QWA Wrestling. Check it out. And if you guys know anyone around Townsville area, Australia, or wherever, let them know about QWA and let them know that we got the biggest show of the year coming up in just under 2 weeks.
That actually seems quite awesome, you know, and it's right up my avenue. Love wrestling, everything about wrestling. I guarantee you, mate, if I was based in Australia, I'll be up there checking it out. Drop me a links to the next drop, Dominance, and I'll be sure to subscribe on QWA on YouTube, and I'll go check them out, and I might even review them as well on my podcast. From your point of view, Champ Phoenix, what is your take on Roman's career?
You asked what I think of Roman Reigns' career. What I think of Roman Reigns' career at the moment is it's top stuff. What he's doing now is what he should be doing. Before now, on the years, on the build-up, it was, my opinion, it was too forced. It was too, it was way too unnatural, and it came across just... I think that's why everyone turned on him, and that's why, no one cared for so many years, because it was so unnatural. They were trying to push him to be the face of the company, and it wasn't working. What Cena left, they were trying to push him to be the next Cena type thing, but Cena was so natural at it, and Cena was so gifted at what he was doing, and it was all organic. It was all natural. He had that personality, that big aura, and Reigns just wasn't connecting. He wasn't doing the same thing what they wanted him to do. It just didn't come across like that. In my opinion, what he is now, it's a perfect fit. He's doing all his stuff now is top stuff, I reckon, in my opinion.
And that couldn't be said any clearer. And I've been very critical of Roman in the past. And to be honest, guys, what Champ Phoenix says in there, it clear as day is how I've viewed Roman Reigns for years. When they pushed him, when the Shield disbanded, and there was pushing heavily of Roman Reigns into our face, it felt unnatural. Just like Champ Phoenix says, it felt unnatural. It felt rushed. It felt like WWE was pushing heavily Roman into our faces, and majority, it just didn't connect with majority of fans. And that's how I felt about Roman for years. I felt like what they was doing with him was, they was rushing him, and everything he was doing, from the mic to his wrestling, it just wasn't connecting at all with me as a fan, as a wrestling fan. So Champ Phoenix, if there is a guy to dethrone Roman Reigns, who would it be and why? Your thoughts on this, Champ Phoenix?
And you asked who I think would be the one to dethrone Reigns. In my opinion, the bigger picture side of things, Karrion Kross is the man to do it. Karrion Kross at the moment is, he's got that big match feel, that big superstar feel. He's one of the only guys I've seen come along in the last, however many years, that has that, natural aura, that big superstar feel, and what he's doing now, everything's just on fire. The dude's a big draw, and down the line, him versus Reigns is going to be huge. Or him versus whoever's going to be huge, in my opinion. He's just got that I don't know, I haven't seen yet if it's on that Cena level, because you got to see with the crowds and stuff, when the big crowds come back, how he goes with all the entrance stuff and all that, and you'll see when the crowds come what it's going to be. But in my opinion, the bigger picture, Karrion Kross will be the man to do it.
And that is Champ Phoenix' view on who would dethrone Roman Reigns. And again, I think that would be actually a quite big draw to drop if Karrion Kross has Roman Reigns' number. To be honest, that would be epic to see, you know, Karrion Kross becoming the new rising star and becoming the guy to defeat Roman Reigns. Would be a great fitting. I can't see Edge doing it myself, but I think if he was to do it, he should have done it at WrestleMania, and Daniel Bryan shouldn't have interfered in that match. It should have just remained Roman Reigns and Edge at WrestleMania 36. No, 37. That's my view. The story was more fitting for Edge to do it at WrestleMania, but because, you know, they had Daniel Bryan into the draw as well. Don't get me wrong, it was a great match. But the story just, I don't know, guys. And then John Cena. John Cena is fixed to return in. Is he going to be the guy to do it? No. Reigns is going to drop the next legend at SummerSlam. Same with The Rock. But if WWE go like this, could we see play out The Rock win the first match at WrestleMania, and then you could have at another WrestleMania The Rock get defeated at Hollywood, and then he retires and he goes out that way. It would be good to see Seth, the Architect, defeat Roman Reigns, but I can't see that going down. If it was me, I would like an upcoming rising star, like Karrion Kross, like Keith Lee. Bobby Roode or Cesaro or Johnny Morgan. Stars like that, talent like that haven't been pushed. I would want guys who haven't been pushed or rising stars to come up and dethrone Roman Reigns. But that is Champ Phoenix's view on Roman Reigns' career and who he thinks would dethrone Roman Reigns. And again, thanks for everybody. I really, really thank everybody for attending this video, for a breakdown of Roman Reigns' career. And I'm privileged, guys, to have spoken with guests from AOW down to Forbidden Championship Wrestling, to Johnny Morgan at UWF, the Fanatics podcast as well, guys, on YouTube. Subscribe to him as well. I am privileged as well. And then for a wrestler from Australia, Champ Phoenix, QWA, to attend a short video, a short section. But I tell you what, even though it's a short section, guys, I am privileged that he has been a part of this video, and I am humbled. I am very humbled indeed. Thanks again, Champ Phoenix, for coming onto the Contenders Corner podcast, and we will look forward to working with you again in the future. And I really hope, Champ Phoenix, that we can pull you on this channel for an upcoming interview. I think it would be absolutely fantastic if you did an interview with us here on the podcast, and we'll look forward to that. Thanks again for appearing on this video, and guys, go over to QWA, that's Queensland Wrestling Alliance, on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter, and subscribe to them, follow them, and again, guys, click those notifications for the latest drop for their QWA Dominance, which is coming up not long away.